Coming to you from New York City. Bringing the video podcast for global Filipinos around the world. Watch and listen as we speak and get to know different celebrities, icons, influencers, and inspiring people. Join Jesse Dang and Jay Katz as they talk about anything and everything while bridging the gap between Filipinos of different generations and genres of choice. This is Over a Glass or Two.
Naman, clubbing days na naman tayo, Jake.
Yes.
Oh, kumusta na, Jcas? Kumusta? How's the unpacking? Because you already moved, obviously, to your new crib. So, kumusta ang pag-unpack?
Ay, hindi. 10% pa lang din.
Baka naman umabot na tayo ng matapos na ang 2023 and ganun pa din. Nag-unpack ka pa din.
Patapos na yung room ko, alam mo naman, na-stress ako. Kaya ngayon lang ako nag-feeling na normal and at least a little bit better kasi nagka-stress ako. But you know what? I don't need to stress myself in unpacking din kasi ako lang naman, wala naman akong bisita. Diba?
But eventually you will because you'll invite all of us, diba? Sa ano mo?
Oo nga, diba?
Oo. Very soon. Sana naman before Christmas. Sana before Christmas.
Tama, December.
Oh, December. Natapos ka ng 90% unpacking. Diba? Oh my God. Ako naman, my God, parang the other night, nagka-vertigo moment ako. As in, even yesterday, I didn't come to work kasi nga, hindi ko alam. Sabi ko, what the heck is going on? Sabi ko, may kumukulang ba sa akin? So, as in, nagka-vertigo moment ako. Nagulat ako, as in, it was just, like, well, I felt so tired. I think, na rin, siguro my body.
Umikot ba yung mundo mo? Di ba, ang tanong ko nga sa'yo, teka, baka si Direk nagpapaikot ng mundo mo?
Ay, naku, lagi naman. Pero,
ay, ew.
Pero, ang ano ko lang, ew, di ba? Pero I'm just like surprised. Bigla na lang siyang, sabi ko siguro, I think my body was telling me that I have to rest. So the whole day, I just rested. And I'm like, when I woke up this morning, I just went for a blood test. Tapos after I went back to work, as in parang, I was relieved. Sabi ko, wow, siguro nga kailangan ko lang talaga magpahinga.
Oo naman, no?
Sometimes we have to really listen to your body, no? Sana, Lord, sana naman wala nang vertigo moment. Nakakatakot pala yung feeling na yun.
Oo, no? Grabe, yung nagkaroon ako niyan, parang kumapit talaga ako sa bench, pero hindi naman makakatulong yun.
Oo nga eh. And I thought, like, I was like, am I gonna die? Am I gonna die? Yung pala, sabi ko, oh my God, ang totoo. I was crying. Pero, thank you, Lord. At least I'm okay now. I'm alive here. And ayan, at excited tayo sa ating special guest. Pero, before natin i-introduce ang ating special guest, we would like to say hi to everyone who's listening and watching. Kumusta po kayong lahat? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon sa lahat ng mga nanonood sa TFC, the Filipino Channel, FYE Channel in Kumu, of course in Facebook, YouTube, at sa ating mga pasahero, Jeepney TV, of course sa buong Pilipinas. Sana po mag-enjoy kayo sa aming special guest for this morning. Jekas, ikaw naman, go!
Yeah, straight from Brooklyn. Good morning po sa lahat mga Filipinos and non-Filipinos in different time zones, in different dimensions, in different continents, in different galaxies, this whole wide universe.
First!
Hello TFC, hello FYE Channel, hello Jeepney TV.
Alam mo, Jekas, until now, every time like we mention like FYE Channel, yung mga TFC, until now, I'm still having goosebumps kasi nga, parang seryoso kasi dati doon, gino-joke lang natin yung mga hello, parang hello TFC, parang And now we're really here, no? Kaya nga, maganda yung guest natin for tonight kasi nga,
nabudol-budol natin sila.
Oo nga. Pero, I mean, we've worked so hard naman, di ba, for so many years. And then, thank God, someone, because of Ate Star, di ba? So, kumbaga, nung inintroduce tayo, and then, ABS-CBN gave us a chance, and maraming salamat for recognizing us. And ang ganda nung excited ako sa ating special guest for this morning kasi nga marami tayong matutunan sa kanya regarding gratitude. 'Di ba? Diyos ko, kaya excited na ako kasi feeling ko ayun na naman, parang nagbabasa na naman tayo ng libro ngayong more night na to. Ayan. So, i-introduce ko na po ang ating special guest for this more night. Ayan. We have seen him during dinners and cocktails around here in New York City. Lagi po yan. Ayan. But it's been 2 years since we have actually last interviewed him here in Over a Glass or Two. One of the kindest and smartest souls that one could ever meet, of course. He's a mindful and wellness coach who worked for the New York Knicks. He's also hailed as one of the 75 most influential Filipino Americans. He's also the founder of the Grasshopper Project, a mindful mentorship community. Let's catch up with our dearest friend, the grandfather of gratitude, no other than Dr. Erwin Valencia.
Wow, ha? You made me older already. Hindi naman ako grandfather. Godfather yun, honey.
Kaya nga ito si Jay kasi grandfather.
Wait. Ako may kasalanan. Wait.
Kaya nga, kasi, okay, lahat kami, meron kami.
Ninong eh.
Ninong na ninong. Kasi ito si Jake, meron kasi kami, ang toka ni Jake, kasi you have to write the intro, Jake. Ako naman tanga, I usually I have to rewrite it and proofread it. Sabi ko, bakit grandfather? Sabi ko, baka gusto ni Erwin yun. Yung pala!
Oh my God. No.
Alam mo ba, parang tatanungin nga kita, bakit grandfather? Mali pala yung mata ko. It's my eyes, I'm so sorry.
Kailan mo ba ng glasses, Jekas?
Kaya nga, oh my God!
Actually, I'm just fighting it, pero I'm reading right now, palayo na ng palayo. That's how it is. But yeah.
Oo nga.
So, Mr. Godfather. Not grandfather.
Okay. Ano po, pag nakita natin si Erwin.
Ninong, hindi lolo, ha?
Oo, ninong.
Two different things.
Correct.
Kuya, actually, but I couldn't be like older brother. I mean, in Filipino, obviously we'll say kuya. It's easy to say kuya.
Yes.
Translate that into English. It doesn't really sound well. It's not like the older brother of gratitude. Parang like it's weird, diba?
I know.
Yeah, there's no direct translation.
Exactly, no direct translation. But also, I'm a ninong to so many people, which is the weirdest thing,
I know.
I remember how many other, besides the 3 direct, me ninong of my brother's son, my sister's son, and my cousin's daughter. But I'm also a ninong of my brother's little daughter now too. Just within this area, I have 4 already, and I have many others. That
oh my God.
Nominate lang bigla ako. Uy, you'd be a good ninong. Pwede ka ba? And I'm like,
may nomination.
Because now I don't remember which one. Biglang, I'm sure when I get to the Philippines pa, biglang, mano mo na kay ninong para may he hasn't given you a gift in 10 years.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's
Mga
their line
Pilipino,
there.
no? Oh my God. Patay ka ngayon pag uwi mo. Teka, bago natin i-continue to, mag-hi ka daw muna sa lahat ng mga nanonood, of course, especially sa mga taga-TFC subscribers, Jeepney TV, FYE, ang dami. Mag-hi ka muna sa lahat.
Wow. Hi. Greetings and salutations to everybody who is watching on TFC, FYE, and Jeepney channel. This is really amazing. I can't believe you guys are actually here witnessing this magic at Over a Glass or Two. I've been so blessed to be here on my second time now, because the first time we did it, we lasted for 3 hours.
Oh my God.
Grabe yun, no?
Gagawin ba natin ngayon? Kasi may chores ako mamaya eh.
Ikakat. Yun nga lang ngayon eh. Kinakat na ng TFC laging 1 hour lang. Laging sabi namin, sayang naman.
I mean, I don't remember all the things we talked about for 3 hours. I think it just went over and over and over and over. And we just kept on laughing.
I know, no? That's why since then we became good friends.
Yeah.
Right?
I think after that 3 hour situation, I guess because I didn't even expect it, and we just got comfortable. Parang like nagtambay lang tayo. So.
Oo nga, parang tumatambay lang tayo, no? Ganon kami ka-komportable sa'yo, Papa E. Tawag ko kasi sa kanya si Papa E, at tawag niya sa akin, ate. So anyways, sige, bago tayo ituloy ang kwentuhan, kailangan ka naming, alam mo naman ka-eklatan, di ba? Kailangan ka naming i-welcome. Ayan. Jcas, anong iniinom mo ngayon?
Kape. Kape.
Woo!
Oh my gosh.
Sige
Cherry
nga.
juice.
Yes, okay. Sa sambayan ng Pilipinas po at sa aming dearest USA, guys, let's all welcome Dr. Erwin Valencia, the grandfather, Ninong lang pala. Welcome to Over a glass or two. Cheers! Ayan.
Ang ganda ng baso.
Ferrari. Patingnan ng Ferrari mo, Papa E. Ayan. Sige, picture daw. Okay, go.
Kasi shiny kasi yung soul ko, di ba? Kaya,
ayan. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Ikaw raise your again. 1, 2, 3. Ayan. Wow. Patingnan ng iyong Ferrari. May Ferrari ka talaga?
Well, I don't have a Ferrari myself. Just yung baso lang. Hanggang baso lang.
Hanggang baso lang no?
Simula yan.
At least,
hanggang baso lang ako, ha?
Simula lang yan. You never know, di ba? Mali mo next year. Oo. We have to manifest. Ano ba, Papa E?
But you know what? It's funny. As soon as you say that, it was interesting for me as you go through that. Is like I've realized more and more that I've never really been big on truly material things. It's like even like with like. For some strange reason, like these past couple of years, I've thought to myself, like, hey, maybe I need to get a new car. Even one of my colleagues was like, oh, you should get that new BMW, or you should get the new Tesla. And for me, I just never could pull the plug because I always found that there's bigger reasons or bigger purposes for me to spend my money on. And particularly, it had to do with either community or giving back or something like forming one nonprofit and then forming another nonprofit. So like instead of me buying a car, I put my efforts and my money into something that gives back. And I think that's been kind of interesting. So I think when somebody had asked me, it's like, what, I think when somebody would ask me, it's like, if you won $1 million, well, well, actually what the Powerball is 1.2, 1.2 billion.
Billion. Yes.
Oh yeah.
Well, what would you buy expense? It's like, I actually really probably wouldn't. I'd probably like, if I had the money, I would buy a couple little things just from an investment standpoint. But then the rest of it is to continue to try to create impact in this world. And I think this is always who I've been. It doesn't really that excite me, these crazy things. Like, if one day a Ferrari shows up, cool, as a sponsor,
yes.
cool.
Yes, why not, right?
I dreamed, like, I need one of those.
Pero alam mo, Erwin, alam mo kung saan mo pinasplurge ang pera mo? Ayan, sa likod mo at saka yung suot mo ngayon. I'm sure. Kasi lahat ng everybody watching around the world right now in TFC, Jeepney TV, and FYE will be asking, wait a minute.
How many hats do you have?
Yes, those are hats. How many do you have in counting right now?
I have almost 100 hats, pero I donated a number away already because I'm moving, and then I have probably about 12 or so on the way on a balikbayan box to head to the Philippines. And so I probably still have here with me right now mga 3640.
Oh my God.
I'm trying to figure out what to do. Do I carry it with me to Manila? Do I leave it in a storage unit here? It's a big vice. I do. It is. I have to say, you're right, Jekas. I think I do spend my money on this. Lucky for me though, that a number of them were sponsored. So yeah.
True. Pero alam mo ito, I'm curious, why are you collecting hats?
What's funny is I've always been a hat collector. I've always been somebody that like enjoyed hats. Some of the memories, I think I was younger, you might picture ko when I was younger, would always be wearing like parang fireman hat, cowboy hat, all that stuff. So I always had a hat. And then when I got like in my teenage years, I started collecting parang baseball caps that were either from like Planet Hollywood or Hard Rock, just to would say like where you were from. Parang when I traveled, I would go to Amsterdam. I was like, oh, I have to go to Hard Rock Cafe in Amsterdam para bumili ako ng baseball cap. Then after a number of years, parang dumami na because I traveled around the world a lot. Sabi dumami, and I'm like, first of all, I can't believe I spent all this money on these caps. Now, they're probably manufacturing for this only mga $1, $2, just because may nakasulat, Hard Rock Manila, Hard Rock Amsterdam.
Exactly.
Pareho lang sila. They all come from the same place, but you're going to this place and you're spending $30 per hat. And I was like,
per hat.
I need to stop this. And then it became more, what are the local football clubs of the, and then it became soccer jerseys and you know what it is, and this wide brim hat started really happening probably in 2015 or 16, when a company called New Era, that's based out of Buffalo, New York, they started experimenting with these fedora hats, and I think I have one here. This one. Started experimenting with this. So it's the same company that makes all these new hair, the baseball hats. The company called New Era. It's been around forever. Where they're the baseball hat maker. They came up with an experiment, a black label experiment, what they call this, and they started making this with, like, you know, with the Knicks logo. So it's an official NBA. It's official
Really?
NBA gear. It's official NBA gear. And then Sempre, they wanted to test it. They only gave 5 markets. They really gave New York, LA, Golden State, Miami, and Chicago. There's the only teams that had it. And so binigay kami ng sample. So they gave all the players, not us, but all the players. The players saw it on their lockers, and they're like, "Ano to? We're not gonna wear this." You know, especially guys don't really wear hats and basketball.
Exactly.
And so, you know, so either A, tinapon nila, or B, they just left it there. So I said, if you guys don't want it, I'll take it because it's kind of cool, you know. You wear hats. Kasi what I used to wear, the hats, shorter ones, pang tango, pang salsa dancing, like, you know, like the Panama Jack ones, which are these ones, which are the
the
classic, you know,
Cuban, yes,
Yeah.
And then when that came, that wide brim fedora came, I was like, oh, these are kind of interesting. I used to go to these parties, and people are like, is that like a Knicks wide brim hat? And I'm like, it actually is. And so that's really cool. I've never seen anything like this. And I was like, that's a cool. So now,
and they never produced that. I guess
never produced it again. No, I never produced it again.
Oh my God! So that, I'm sure that's a lot of money by now.
No, not necessarily, kasi it was parang experiment lang, and it wasn't like hindi siya parang sneakers. It didn't create a massive demand for the supply.
Exactly.
They were like, oh, it's a cool experiment. We didn't really go anywhere. Actually, I bought a couple of others just with different sizes just to kind of test it out, and they were like 50% off, basically. Parang binimigay na nila. It's like, okay, it's good. At least I got it for free. And
exactly. Wait, did you ask all the players to just give it to me?
Yeah. I got.
They all gave it to you?
Yeah, pero the sizes mga XL, so some of them didn't really fit me.
Do they have different colors?
No, this is the only one. But the colors are different kasi
parang uniform eh.
In each team, it's the beads. Yung beads.
Yeah.
So the beads are like orange and blue, obviously with the team colors. Otherwise. But yeah, so for me, it started really going. I started then really testing, and the one trigger after that was a good friend of mine has parang this artisanal shop that she works with these artisanal ladies in Oaxaca, Mexico, and they made these parang gaucho hats in Mexico, and also made these pom-poms. You know, she was saying, hey, these hats are coming from Mexico, and these ladies that make it. You know, if you want to support, I was like, oh yeah, I'll support. So I got one. The first one I got was like a pink one, and then I started wearing it all the time, and people were like, "That's a really cool hat." And then I called my friend. I said, "Hoy, lahat ng kulay gusto ko na. Get me all the colors." So I ordered like 10 of them, like all different colors from. Plus, I felt good because I was giving back to a community, diba? So it's a local artisanal group in Oaxaca, Mexico. And then then it got spun now, and then I started getting different hats now, and then I became. During the pandemic, I became an Gorin Brothers ambassador, and then they signed me and they said, "Hey, you know, you love wearing hats. I see it everywhere. Would love for you to be an ambassador for us." I was like, I wear it all the time, anyways. So
exactly.
I love the Gorin. I only have one Gorin, yung $100. I bought it in Williamsburg.
And when the shop was open.
Yeah, they were. Well, it was after the pandemic na.
Okay.
But and kasi I love wearing hats. The reason is because, you know, dahil nga nawala na yung hair ko. Nagsimula nang nawala yung hair ko. It looks like an egg. It's a perfect circle. I just started buying like yung
types of hats.
Newspaper boy hats, mga ganon, in the Philippines, ha. And then that's how it snowballed. And then I just started wearing hats up to now.
Ikaw naman, Papa E, di ba you have full hair?
Yeah, I still have hair.
Oh yeah, true.
hindi na apektuhan yung hair mo, yung hairline mo because of wearing hats. I think merong notion na ganun that you get
Not necessarily.
You get
Not
bald.
necessarily. The only thing
Hindi.
sometimes is that when I wear too much, you'll get parang like irritations or pimples or something like that, like on the line.
Okay.
the
Yes.
brim.
True.
But what's funny is that I started getting really into custom hats. So I started designing hats and having a hat maker make it for me. And then just recently, I learned how to make my own hats, which then I have so much more respect to hat makers. Like I made this hat.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I made this hat from scratch. So I call it the volume 1, or my friends call it the toasted marshmallow. So I made it.
Oh.
Yeah. So
You made it from scratch?
yeah. It was a whole process. It took 2 days.
Or it could be like baked Alaska. Yan ang
Oh,
Ooh.
great title, great name.
I know,
huh?
great, Big Alaska. Wait, baka naman maybe one of these days we won't be surprised actually that we'll see on social media, or just send us a message like, Jessie, by the way, please support my hat business.
It's too
Diba?
involved. It's too much.
I mean, you never know because you're going back to the Philippines. Sige nga. Speaking of going back to the Philippines, okay. Wait, let's start
We haven't even
muna.
started yet, di ba? This is
Oo
just
nga.
intro.
I know. Intro muna. Like, okay, so, sige, kwento. Like, I know that, of course, you're the, para sigurado, Director of Training and Coordination, conditioning for NBA, right? For New York Knicks.
Parang
So you got grandfather.
Kailangan kong gumanon eh. Director of Training and Conditioning for
Binabasa na
New
yan,
York
ha?
Knicks. Kailangan kong ilayo eh, di ba? Yung
Pareho
mata
kami
ko
ni
kasi-
Jessie.
As in,
Mga
wala
dyslexic
na.
din kami. Ano ba yan?
Kailangan iganon na siya. Pag ganon na, ano daw? So, wait, so how long have you been working for New York Knicks?
I finished my 9th season with the Knicks, so almost going on 10 years. But sadly, just about a few weeks ago, or probably like about
Yes.
what's today? Today's August 3rd. Yeah, literally about 2.5 weeks ago or so, I officially kind of resigned from my position and stepped down, and so I think bittersweet, to have almost spent a decade in New York and with one of the more famous and legendary organizations, and it's been a blessing. It's been a blessing because of I'm able to be in New York. I was able to meet you guys. I was able to meet so many other people. But I think there's just certain things in life just that you have to think about that's bigger, and how you can create more impact. And as a guy that's always thinking of like, what can I do that's bigger, that allows more people to know that they can dream and inspire and and make a difference in this world.
Grabe, no? A lot of people were I was shocked. Like, I know I've seen photos and videos, and even actually, diba, you sent me a photo that you were like in the hospital or something. So I was like, what happened? So was that one of the reason why you decided to say
That's probably the
goodbye?
biggest. That was the tipping point. I think I'd already felt this past season, after achieving a lot, like the career highlight of my life was being able to be live on the jumbotron at Madison Square Garden and being honored for what I do for the Knicks and for the city of New York and for the NBA. And for me, it's like, wow, how can you even top that? I almost asked myself, I was like, what not only did they did a collage for me, they actually then put me live, and I didn't know what to do. But like, my player hit me in the elbow, and we're like, hey dude, I think you're in the jumbotron. And I was like, what? So syempre, first reaction ko, yeah.
Oh, my favorite.
Then I was like, well, gawin natin ganito rin. Yeah.
Kahit yung nasa EKG ka, nakaganyan ka.
Nakaganon ka rin eh. No? Oo. Oh my God.
Pero teka, before we move on, explain natin muna sa lahat ng nanonood, Director of Conditioning sa New York Knicks. Explain mo ano talaga yung ginagawa mo doon.
Yeah. So initially, when I was brought in as the Director of Training Conditioning for the New York Knicks, which basically I was the head of the whole, as a performance director, in a sense, the head of the whole medical and performance department. So at that time, when I first got that role, I basically oversaw the medical staff and the athletic trainers, our massage therapists, our nutritionists, our strength staff, and kind of made sure that I was a good medium or good coordinator of communications between management, between the doctors, between the athlete and the coaches. Number one. Number two, I was, probably the best clinician on staff, so that then when something happened, I would have a good diagnosis of kind of what's going on, and then be able to make quick decisions on whether or not the athlete should come back on the court or not. But using obviously all the data that we have also collected. Number three, what we did a lot of was looking at data science and sports science and analyzing the data, how we can prevent the injuries from occurring, and see what kind of things we can do so that we can make sure that we have a program in place so that we can prevent these injuries from occurring. So I think a lot of it was kind of a mixture of admin, scientist,
magician,
and everything else in between.
everything, yeah.
But fortunately or unfortunately, I was brought into that realm through Phil Jackson, who was the president of the team at that time. And then when he was let go, I thought I was going to be let go as well, but was able to find a way to remain in the organization and kind of step down from that role of being like, quote unquote, the boss of the situation to being a staff member as a staff physiotherapist, but also lucky enough, the coach that came in when the previous coach was fired was big on biohacking, growth mindset, Tony Robbins. And so he was the one that says, hey, when I saw him, I was like, Coach, are we bringing Tony Robbins here? We're bringing Mark Hyman or Dave Asprey. We're doing biohacking here. And he's like, yes, brother, we will. And I want you to lead all of that. So then I became like the wellness lead of the team. And I focused everything I did on the wellness aspect, which really was what I wanted to do. Because even at that time, they were trying to tell me to do all this performance data analytics, performance analytics. Parang hindi na ako eh. I was always human. I always brought the mindfulness aspect of it. That's the reason why Phil Jackson and I really got along, because I was big on mindfulness. And so we created mindfulness programs and everything like that. But the team wanted more analytics, more data and all that stuff and science and stuff. So when I actually, quote unquote, in a sense, got demoted, I actually took it as not a bad note, but I actually took it as something that I actually enjoyed, because now it allowed me to be what I really wanted to be, which is really focused on the wellness aspect of things. So I did that since then, pre-pandemic, 2018, 2019. And when 2020 hit, it was ironic that the pandemic hit and there was nothing to perform, because I was a high performance director and there was nothing to perform to because there was no games.
Exactly. Yeah.
So what was the thing that people thought about was their wellness. And I happened to be an expert in it that happens to already in the team. So they're like, oh, can you create a manual? Can you do Zoom calls so that our players can breathe, can do meditation, can do yoga? And I was like, let's do it. And like, wow. So I definitely found not only my calling, but I definitely found my ability to practice what I've always wanted to do. And I was able to do that really for the past 5 years.
Oh, wow.
Hindi ba nagka-clash yung being a doctor mo at clinician for physical therapy and then yung you're into mindfulness during those times?
No, as a matter of fact, it actually goes hand in hand. I think
it goes hand in hand. I was about to say
because as somebody, I think particularly coming from Asia and being Filipino, I'm very blessed to have been open to a lot of the Eastern philosophies, but also open to the Western philosophies. So I think being able to put that together and also embodying it allowed me to gain the respect not only from the players and management, but also from my colleagues. And I think if it's funny to say, kung yung itsura ko medyo iba, then maybe may duda sila kung kaya kong gawin to. But because I look like who I am, but I also act like how I am, like I embody my own practices. When they talk about mindfulness meditation, I've been doing this for 30 years. So it's like, it's not like something new. I didn't just go to a weekend course and suddenly tuturo na
came
ako.
out natural.
You didn't do an ayahuasca retreat.
I didn't need to do that. I know about it already. Yeah, it definitely taking time for this practice for me to embody it and allow myself to really shine in that way.
Oh, wow. Pero alam mo, sa totoo lang, a lot of people were sad when you posted that
when I
like a farewell
when I saw the
note.
Facebook, but very cryptic pa kasi parang hindi masyadong diretso. Tsaka English nahirapan ako.
Actually, it's so funny. Because we were like, I think it was JV or you, JCast, who sent that to us like in our group. So I was like, are you kidding me? No, I was like, wait, is he like saying goodbye or he was just want to write a novel just for the heck of it? I'm like, wait, hold on. And then we started messaging each other, and I'm like,
it's definitely a gratitude.
it was like a
So, but I was
gratitude
like,
post.
is he leaving?
Yeah,
Parang thank you
it
lang
was
sa'yo.
like discreet way of saying that I'm leaving, guys. But it was kind of like a gratitude, you know, like thankful,
Yeah.
very thankful and grateful for everything that, you know, New York Knicks have done throughout your career. But at the same time, it's like you're saying like, bye. So everyone, a lot of people sending me messages like, wait, you're friends with Erwin, right? Is he really leaving? Alam mo, a lot of Filipinos were touched, and at the same time they were like sad kasi nga, I mean, sa totoo lang, magpakatotoo lang, you really gave talagang a huge pride to all the Filipinos in New York.
Tsaka ikaw
Not
lang
just in
yun.
New York, everywhere. As in, alam mo bang, di ba, I even showed you a couple of videos before that, kasi si JV is a hardcore fan of basketball. He would send me like, oh my God, this videos, like different of videos from all over the world, different ethnicity. They would create a video like with you and the New York Knicks. So I was like, oh my God, friend ko to. I can't believe it's Erwin, friend ko.
And you know what? When we shifted into talking about you leaving, your voice also changed. Talagang melancholic. So I guess what we all want to know right now as well is that since you are leaving, what are you
Really, I
going to
know.
really miss most about leaving the New York Knicks and the company?
You know, I think my biggest thing is what I feel is, I think to be able to, you know, what I've done really more than anything else is brought the awareness of really what well-being and mindfulness and ultimately positivity, that the role it can play in the world of sport, and particularly in the NBA and in basketball, which we Filipinos love so much. And what I'll miss is, number one, the continued impact that I know I could do within the sport, but I know I have a bigger calling to make it even bigger than just beyond the sport, you know, to make it bigger beyond the sport. Number one. Number two, you know, I'm going to miss the day-to-day connections with the people that I work with, my colleagues, and the laughters that we've had within our training room, the jokes, the stuff, but also the love I've gone to have and the respect I've gone to have with, especially the people that that aren't normally recognized in organization, and the secretaries, the janitors, the ushers, the security people, the guy that parks the car, you know, the kitchen staff, and I think because you know, I saw them as my people, and I saw them as really because they do the work there, and nobody really recognizes them, and you know,
Yeah, the unseen heroes. Yeah.
they're unseen heroes. And for me, I felt I was an unseen hero for a lot of times until really I think this year more than anything else, I really started becoming in the public eye because my players now wanted me to do the meditations on the court rather than just in the back in the shadows. And so I felt like I was still one of the people that are in the shadows, but I was given an opportunity to shine in a little bit. And for me, I carry, you know, the torch for those that don't get the chance to get the shine.
Plus, you're on the
What about-
jumbotron. So
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
Pero okay, yung Jake has asked you, like, what are the things that you will miss? So what are the things that you will not miss?
This is the tea. Drop the tea,
Ayun,
honey.
ito yung gusto ko malaman. Yeah, ano yung mga magpakatotoo na tayo, wala ka na doon. Joke.
Ganon.
No, yeah, I think, you know, it's not
Okay.
all too bad. It's just that I think the biggest thing that but people don't know about when you work in professional sport, and particularly with elite sport and in a big city like New York, is that you lose time. You lose time to really have time for yourself. Lose time. You don't have time to take care of yourself the right way because you're always on the go. You always have to have a smiling face, even though you're having a bad day. You also don't have time more than anything else to create solid relationships that, you know, could then be bigger in your life. And I think the challenge is, you know, for a while after, you know, it's funny because it took 5 years for me to then have a true sense of community and belonging in New York City, because the only time I would meet my friends is during the summertime. Kasi during the season, I'll be flying everywhere. So it came to the point that parang a joke na like, you won't see Erwin for 8 months, 9 months. You'll only see him during the summer. And so imagine if you're trying to have a real relationship, your schedule goes by the game schedule. And even that, parang nagiging business call na rin siya. It's like, you would end up dating a girl, and like, and if she happens to be a digital nomad or somebody that's also working, like making an impact, really pushing the envelope, that's driven, what's going to happen is both of you, so often it happened to me, both of you are looking at your Google calendars and be like, kailan tayo magmi-meet? I was like, and sometimes you start asking yourself, is this
which state are we meeting? Yeah.
Or is this a business partnership? Diba?
Exactly.
Collaboration.
Collaboration, yeah.
I remember, like, I asked you this so many times, diba? Like, Papa E, so what will happen if you have like a relationship, like, a real relationship that you're planning to marry this person and have kids? And you were like, I remember one time you told me, like, sort of like, she has no choice. She just have to, if she loves me, she has to accept my schedule. And I'm like, ang hirap naman nun. Sabi ko, ano yun? Parang ganun nga, parang it's a business. Like, hey, it's either you take it or not take it. It's up to you. But so di ba inask pa kita, you don't have kids? Like, I love to, but hey, this is my life. This is this is my bread and butter.
Yeah, I know that's a challenge. I think you sacrifice a lot, and I think that's what I won't miss the most. I think there are days that I probably would have been able to, visit my parents more. Like I would only see my parents once a year, and or there were days that I would think like, oh, there's my nephew's show or somebody's graduation, and to be able to miss it, I could have done it if that was important to me. But there's this weird sense of parang guilt trip that you get because you left, and even though they say, no, go ahead. But like parang inside of you, parang like, I'm letting the team down because I'm taking time off. And then now somebody now has to cover for me and then work with my guys, or my player, so to speak. Paano kung your player, especially on a game day, they have a certain routine, and inibay mo yung routine kasi nawala ka, then they're just like, then if something did happen to them in a sense that they didn't perform the highest level, then the finger gets pointed at you. And so this is weird. Even technically, as the years have gone, I've let go of that. But especially when you're just beginning this world of sport, you get this inner guilt trip. And plus, we're Filipino pa, so yung guilt trip natin mas
grabe. Yeah.
Right?
I remember many times we went out for dinner, or we'll invite you, right? You'd be like, okay, can I just follow you guys like around 11 something, right? Like for dinner, because we have to finish this. We'll be like, oh, okay, sige, we'll just eat around that time. We don't have a choice because we're your friends, so we have to. We have to follow within your schedule because we want to hang out. Adjust.
So now imagine having a relationship in that situation, and that's a regular. You guys experienced it a few times, but now if this was somebody I was with, it's like it would take somebody super special to understand that situation. But the challenge is in the city of New York, where you think that there's so many people that it's easy to meet people. Even meeting the right people is completely different. And now, as driven, the more and more driven you get, and the more and more part of consciousness and thought process you get into society, now the pool of people that you want to be around and then also have relationship with is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And you have magical moments sometimes. You meet somebody, you're like, oh my God, this is magical. And then they're like, okay, cool, let's do something next Tuesday. I'm like, yeah. But I have a game.
In a fairy tale land, yes, we can.
Yeah. Kung nakwento sa akin yun ni Erwin.
Or like, sige, fine. If you can't do Tuesday, let's do Thursday. There's a thing that's happening Thursday. I'm going to be going to Boston for a game.
To Boston, yeah. Remember. Kasi nga ako, I always ask, otherwise, Erwin, like, oh, ano, sino na? Who's your, ano ba, i-recruit na ba kita? Ipupush na ba kita sa, sabi siya, I met this girl. And then after that, I don't know. I didn't end up well. Time eh. Sabi ko, oh my God. Paano ka magkakaasawa niyan? Maybe God is listening. The
Or my dad.
Or your dad. Hey, the universe is
You know
telling
what's
you.
funny? And I'll tell you about this. And the universe transpires to exactly what would you want. You know, last April when I went back home, not this past April, yung last April, 2023. The day before I left, it's weird. My dad doesn't really talk that much. My dad's pretty quiet. The only thing he'll ever ask me is like, "Oh, okay ka ba?" Which is basically, "May pera ka ba?"
Oh.
Literally, like he'll always ask us like, "Ano, okay ka ba?" Which means like, "Kamusta yung bank account mo? Ubus na ba?" Parang ganun parang yung question niya. So for my dad to ask me last April, before I left to return to the States last April, he really sat me down. Like during breakfast, he goes, "Hey, so I've been meaning to ask you. You say in your interviews on TV and on podcasts and in newspapers that you have this 3-step method. That's how you got your job with the Knicks and your professional career. The visualize it, prepare for the path, and manifest it." He goes, "So you say that everywhere, pero let me ask you, have you thought about this for your personal life to find a partner?" And I was like, "Are you my dad?" Parang nalit bigla ako eh. Sabi ko, and this was weird for my dad to actually speak up like that. That means that something in him was really wanting to make sure that it was in my mind and not something that I kept on pushing aside. He basically was asking us like, do you still desire to have a family? Do you still desire to have kids? And like, not saying that you're never going to do it, but I just want to remind you that time passes by when you don't recognize it, when you're just going through the waves and the motion. And so for my dad to ask me that was touching for me, and it made me start thinking about things. And my father and I, since pandemic, have really had no hold barred conversations where, we didn't know what could happen in the pandemic, and they were stuck in the Philippines for 18 months, and I wouldn't have seen them, and we never know what could have happened. And I said that after I saw them again 18 months later, I said I'm never gonna miss an opportunity to talk serious with them, and not do small talk with my parents. I'm gonna ask them hard questions, and they'll ask me hard questions. And so it gave my father, I think, parang the freedom to do that and be comfortable with that. And so, when I actually told my dad that I was leaving the Knicks, I thought he would react and be like, "Oh, how will you get money? May pera ka ba?" No, my dad was actually like, "Oh, that's good. So you can actually spend more than just 10 days when you go to the Philippines, and better chances of meeting a nice Filipina girl."
Reiterated again, mind you.
Mind you, di ba? Gusto nila
partner.
magkaapo? Ano ba?
I was like, what? Okay. I was like, okay. And I was like, okay, interesting. And the most interesting thing about that is the fact that my dad reacted that way. And he had a phrase that I think I'll never forget. And I tell people now about this all the time. It's like, that's good. Then we can reintroduce you to society. Sabi ko, ano ko, parang college graduate na
18th debutant.
Parang debutant or ano ko? Hindi ka ba nagulat na even your dad, ganun ang perspective niya to what you're actually doing?
Exactly.
Diba?
I was like, wow, Pop, my dad is thinking about this. Then I was like, I started thinking about it really. And so, I think part of the decision also is to be able to finally have time for really to, I set the intention last year, actually, when I was at Burning Man last year, is to open myself to receive love fully, which then when New Year's Eve came, and I always do this as part of my every year practice, end of August, I set my big kind of intention, and then I fine tune it so that by December 31st, it's much smaller. And so the word was space for me. Space, I need to give myself space so that I can have time to then receive love fully, and which has really been fascinating because I think this is just the universe. When I hurt my back was a sign the universe was like, you did want space, so I'm going to force you to have space now.
To have space.
You're not going to stop. I'm going to stop you.
Wow. Pero alam mo, I don't know, for some reason, when you said that, I was kind of like sad, but at the same time, I was so happy for you. Because finally, I feel like you're free. You're free. No, seriously, you're free to meet.
For fly, little bird, fly.
No, seriously, you're free because I really felt like when you used to work for Knicks, you barely have no time for yourself. You only have like a limited time.
Yeah.
Well, diba, the season is off, and then that's it. You're like working. Remember, I always ask you, Papa E, let's go for no way. I mean, no, I don't have time, Jessie. As in, I will not be around for like quite some time. So kailan? And then you'll tell me like what, in a few months, and I'm like, oh my God, parang nagkakwentuhan nga kami ni JV. Sabi ko, parang ang sarap nung parang the fact that you work for New York Knicks. Wow, it brings like, you know, like that we're all proud of you, but at the same time, paano ka? Like, you don't have time for yourself, for your family, to even have a family of your own.
Yeah, the sacrifice that you made. I think some people are lucky enough to have found love in their family prior to joining this, and then it becomes, you know, their wife and their kids have to, like, in a sense, learn how to deal with it. It's like something they go through as a journey, as a family together.
Sure.
But if you're starting it without, and you're hoping to find somebody while you're on it, it's next to impossible. It really is. And or what happens is that so many in the industry end up getting divorced or separated, or they become absentee fathers. And I said I was a bit selfish because I said I never want to raise kids in an environment where I never get to see them. And I don't want to be unfair to my significant other, that they'll just be the ones taking care and raising my kids while I go off having to work around the country for 7 to 8 months a year. And I
probably have mistress in every state.
This is, you know, as a single guy, it's not a problem. But now, family and this, and you know, I would be lying if I didn't say that this would happen in sport. That didn't happen in sport, but it does.
Oh yeah, true.
You know, because you're
definitely
never around your family or your spouse or your girlfriend, and these are temptations that are around. And there's not, you know, there's a lot of people that are strong, but there's also some people that are not. So, you know, for me, it's important to be able to create space and time. And you know, I joke around with some people that don't be surprised if the same time next year, you know, you're going to get an invitation or something like that, you know?
Wait, invitation. Invitation.
Yeah.
You never know. Wait.
No. I mean, you know, my plan is to stay in Siargao for a whole month and just stay there be ghost mode, just write and reflect and surf every day. And, you know, never know, some person could be like doing the same thing. It's funny. I was talking to some friends who've lived in Siargao for a number of years. It's like, you know, one of my guys who's a physician, actually, who moved to Siargao, and he's lived there now for 6 years. And sabi niya,
wow,
he left pretty much being a doctor to be like a yoga instructor and all that stuff in Siargao. And sabi niya, what are you looking for, ba? Like, I go, you know what? For me, I guess in a sense, my dream girl would be somebody who would be with me in a farm, picking up my cacao and, you know, with me, like trying, like, because I have a farm, being, you know, working on the farm or doing something, you know, just or contributing or going to Smoky Mountain and helping like the kids there or whatever you call it. And then at the moment's notice, kung kailangan, we suddenly show up at a gala and we're completely like ready to rock.
Like dressed up naman.
Oh my God.
Diba?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I have relatives there.
My number one thing is adaptability. And I think somebody, and that comes from, if you have some sort of, you know, I think if you have a little bit of Filipino blood and you're on a journey to trying to discover what that is, more often than not, and I've seen this now, and my friend in Siargao was telling me, a lot of us, as you said, your story is not unique. There's a lot of you who are coming home. Most of them are probably seeking to find out who they are and what their roots are. You're coming home because you feel like you can contribute. So you're in different levels, but there's so many that are on a journey to discover who they are as Filipinos. And more often than not, they show up in Siargao.
I know, right? Like, what's up with Siargao? I was just mentioning earlier, I have relatives there, as in a lot.
Have you relatives and is your family from that area?
Yeah, from Siargao. Yes, I have, because my mom's side and dad's side are Bisaya. So I'm even selling a lot of I posted it on my Facebook a couple of times. I'm selling my uncle's five or six properties in Siargao.
In Siargao?
Yes. Sige, we'll talk.
Where is it?
In General Luna, Hagakak, Hagakak, Santa Monica, Santa Fe, Ligiran.
You posted on Facebook? I don't think I've ever seen it. I have to see it.
Sige, I'll tag you. Maybe you wanna find a buyer. Baka
Oh my
gumano ka.
God.
Per square na
Wow.
Oo,
Mahal
baka
per
bigla ka.
square yun,
No, it's, yung iba pwede nilang usually it's an
hectare ba?
more than a hectare, but some, my uncle is willing to like sell
Divide.
it, like divide it. I'm even selling one beachfront for 5 hectares. May mga ganun ako. Sa mga,
Beachfront?
yeah. Oo, sa mga ano kayo, relatives ko. Yeah, kaya sabi ko, that's why next year, definitely we might see you in Siargao because we're going back. Because my uncle is building like a resort or something, a small resort in Siargao. Don't worry, sige, I'll hook you up with some of my relatives there. Ang galing, no? Pero ito, so what's your, okay, I know you're planning to go home, right? Like, when are you going back to the Philippines?
I'm going back next week. Like
Next week, right? So until when you're staying there, and then what's your plan
So
when
my
you go?
plan is I'm going to leave on August 14th. I'll get there on the 16th. I will arrive and I'm going to go to Siquijor for 2 days first, to go from the 17th to the 19th and find some manananggals and brujas. And,
Oh my God!
Ay, sabi na eh.
and you know
Okay.
what the weird thing is? The reason why is because for some strange reason, I have 4 Spanish friends that are all going to the Philippines to go to Siquijor. And I'm like, what the heck?
What are they doing in Siquijor?
I don't know. So they're going to go there. And I said, well, actually, I think I'll be arriving at that time. It's like, why don't you come join us for like 2 days? I'm like, okay. So I went on Cebu Pacific, bought a flight. But the interesting thing about that too is that because I have to be back on the 19th because my father, my lolo, and I are all receiving something called the Multi-Generational Award that's being given by the University of the Philippines for graduates of UP who not only found success in their professional careers, but also continue to serve the Filipino people. So my grandfather did that as a politician. My dad did that as trade relations between Japan and the US, and obviously I've done what I've done. So we're receiving an award on August 19th. And then the FIBA World Cup is happening in the Philippines, and that starts on the 25th. And I've offered to volunteer my services as part of the local medical committee, particularly because as a liaison, it was easy for me because there were so many people who friends go from the NBA, players, whatever.
Yes.
And they're all texting me now. They're like, are you going to be in Manila? Can you show me around? I'm like, of course. Like I spend most of my life taking care of people in another country. Now I'm going to show you what it's like to be taken care of in my country. And I'm so excited for that more than anything.
Wow. Oh my! You're planning to be a professor too, or?
Yeah, and then
yes.
and then also I'd be able to really give back to UP again. On which I have a program that we're doing. I'm going to be heading the sports PT program at UP, and to kind of uplift them and upregulate that. And so it'd be really fascinating because the style we're doing it is part of Harvard Business School case study style. So I think it'll be a very unique learning experience for the students. And I hope that will then rise UP's ranking in the world because of the more international feel that it's giving to students. And so through my actually a lot of the collaboration comes with my nonprofit Grasshopper project. So there's a lot of things I'm doing, but also I'm going to be back here in the States on October 20th because I'm also receiving another award from UP for the UP American Alumni Association of America. I'm being given the Oblation Award, which is the highest honor and distinguishment given to an alumni in America. And so it's an award, apparently award season for me. And there's another
right? This year's an award season for you.
There's another award I'm receiving actually in the Philippines. I can't really tell people yet about it, but I just found out about it yesterday that I got nominated and I'm getting the award. And I was like, this is crazy. So I told my mom, and I said, Mom, don't post it on Facebook. Like bawal pa.
Not yet. Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, like really in this past three in the next 2 months, I'm going to be receiving 3 major awards, which is really kind of cool.
Wow. At saka no,
Yung
nakakagulat pala
contribution na
talagang
binigay mo, no, sa Filipino community.
you're living yourself for others, and it's generational na pala kasi it runs in your family from your grandfather
from your
to your
grandfather
dad
to your dad.
to you, which is not the grandfather but the godfather of gratitude.
Ninong. Kuya ako eh.
Oo, kuya, hindi ninong, hindi ninong. Oo.
Kuya ng pasasalamat. Tama ba yun? The godfather of gratitude. Why did you tag yourself as that?
obviously I've been studying gratitude for probably 6-7 years now, and I'm actually getting a PhD on it. And so for me, gratitude has been something that's been a massive part of my life. And when I started studying the art, the science, and the practice of gratitude, it allowed me to truly have an understanding of how powerful that is as a tool for living. And the Godfather part came from the fact that I started this group, this community called Gratitude Gang in Clubhouse, which now has more than 50,000 people that are on it. And I've always thought of myself, if not a kuya, but parang that ninong of a lot of people. And because I am in real life, but also, it's that sense of where you're the leader, kind of parang mafia in a situation where you're like, the Godfather is the leader. It's not like the dad or the uncle, it's the Godfather. And I think somebody called me that once and be like, oh yeah, you're like because the people were saying gratitude guru. I was like, I don't want to ever be called a guru, and so, but what's like a mafia? Somebody else I asked, I was like, well, what's like a mafia situation? You mean like a Godfather? I'm like, you're right, actually. Exactly. Then I'll just, because you can't really say gratitude Godfather. So you have to go Godfather of gratitude, because a gratitude Godfather seems kind of weird. So, so that kind of just, it happened. And I was like, I'm just going to stick to it. I heard it once and I was like, okay, that's who I am.
Pero ang galing, no? I mean, kasi if you look at the word gratitude, parang, okay, it's just gratitude. Pero you explain and you even live with it, like the profound way of, how to be gratify God, gratify everything. That's, di ba, ang galing, no? Parang, sabi ko nga, meron palang ganun. When you were like talking about it, always posting about it, and even on your podcast, I was surprised. I was like, oh, okay, that's the reason why you're even friends with Jay Shetty, right? I mean, with Jay Shetty. And who else? Those gratitude, is he part of the gratitude gang?
I mean, unofficially. I mean, he's my boy. So yeah, I mean, he's unofficially part of that crew. I mean, it's like everybody that has that as part of their practice is part of the gang. And I think, there's a group called the Grateful Giraffes that started in the Web3 space that are friends of mine as well. And, it's funny. You would think that when you're doing the same thing that you'd be competitive, but why would you be competitive when you're all being grateful? It'd be kind of anti-grateful to be competitive against each other. But it does allow us to be more diverse in the areas and the niches that we actually affect and we actually impact. And so, I'm very lucky to know who some of the people are in the world of gratitude. And Robert Emmons, who is probably by far the world's first expert on gratitude and spirituality, particularly, him and I have become quite friendly because he's actually been supporting my PhD program. And to have him as a backing on my PhD program, he's the one that wrote the most number of books. It gives me a lot of power from my PhD, so that then I'll have that as a good kind of reference point to then prove that the study I'm doing is legit and not just something that's kind of floozy on the side.
So meaning you'll be writing your own book anytime soon?
Yeah, I mean, I'm currently writing my book, and I think part of going to Siargao is to get more focus and more time to really sit down and be like, okay, which direction are we going now? I've been writing my book since 2016 and haven't had time.
Oh,
and
wow.
Even writing that gratitude letter, it took 3 hours on a flight from Berlin to New York, but I was hyper focused, like I was like nonstop. And so, if a letter like that, which is like one page, 1,500 words, took that long, what a 60,000 word book is a whole different story. So it means I needed time. So that was a great reminder for me that, like, hey, if there's something you want to do, you need to put time for it.
So what's on your bucket list right now aside from the book?
The book, obviously sabbatical, taking time for myself first. The book, travel around a little bit again, like I used to back in the day. Obviously, make sure to raise the awareness for both Gratitude Gang and Grasshopper Project, which are my two nonprofits. Eventually, the book, and eventually a podcast. Which is something I really want to do, but I want to make sure that when I release it well. And lastly, really creating a coaching business and coaching program that supports people, that supports other people. I think that's my biggest thing. I think part of my PhD is looking at the impact of gratitude as it affects the people that support the NBA players. And for me, I've always been concerned for the physicians and nurses that were burning out during the pandemic because nobody really took care of them. They had to take care of the patients. And so who's supporting those people? And I think there's not only an opportunity for me to be able to impact that space, but also at the same time create a business out of it.
Pero nakalimutan mo ata yung love life.
Oh, well,
He is creating space na. Don't
Oo
worry,
nga
he's creating space.
Kasama na ba yun? So,
Kasama na yun, no? Kasama na yun eh. Yes, I have to tell the world. Yes, I mean, one of that is really making sure that I create space and time to be able to like share experiences with somebody that then in turn have that become something that's real.
Kasi lagi kong kiniloloko to. Pag may Miss Universe, may Miss Universe or may mga yung mga nagiging nai-interview namin na beauty queens, models be like, Papai, look. Uy, ask mo naman kung single.
Naku, baka makakilala ka doon sa Siargao, surfer girl. Diba?
Why not, diba? Why not? Wait, sige nga, curious nga ako. What exactly are you looking for in a partner?
Well, like I said, adaptability is my number one thing.
Okay.
It's like somebody that also, and the adaptability also comes in different forms, meaning like there's something to be said about somebody that can be in the ground level and have the respect and the love of the people at the ground level, but at any given point in time can flip the switch and show up like the girl in the red dress in a gala that everyone's going to stare at, because that comes from confidence. And I say that because I'm the same way. Like literally, I can be in the ground with my sleeves up, getting all dirty, and then I can show up that night with the best suit in the entire place, and people will stop and stare at that and my hat. So I think somebody can adapt. Yeah,
yes, don't forget the hat. Yes.
And so the adaptability is number one, because then also that gives you that means that you have empathy, that you have compassion, and then you have kindness not only to yourself but the people around you, because you're willing to do the work on the ground level. So for me, that's going to probably the most important part is like, you can't be too maarte to be like, I need 5 hours for my hair to be done or my makeup. It's like, if you're self-sufficient and you can even do it yourself, damn, I'm going to be like, man, I love you. Let's get married tomorrow.
I know.
But like I said, the adaptability, do you have true authenticness to yourself that then you can share that with the people that you surround yourself, or people feel that from you,
You will not have a hard time looking for that person. I'm sure. She's around.
Because
I'm crossing my fingers and praying for that time.
Yeah, I'm creating space for it. And it's been kind of an interesting journey already, because then like I was just in Estonia in May or in June, July. And it's been fascinating just kind of meeting people now that I've opened myself up. It's, I kind of have to like push people to the side a little bit more now, because it's like getting too crazy now. So.
Oh my God. So you're planning to stay in the Philippines until, I know you're going back, right? October. And then you're going back to the Philippines again.
Then Christmas, then I'm spending Christmas in the Philippines and staying till the end of March.
Oh, wow. So do you have plans of living in the Philippines for quite some time, aside from December to April? Baka man magustuhan mo biglang Jesse. That's it, I'm packing all my stuff.
Baka maging main base mo na yung Manila or Siargao.
It might be. And that's probably, I mean, Manila, Siargao, and I have, my family, well, me particularly, we have, I bought a farm up in the mountains of Rizal that helps support indigenous kids in the mountains to create after school programs for them. Me and my mom, we have a project there. And so what we did is we bought land there so that we can support these indigenous kids. And so I think, that will be, it's very close to my heart, and I feel like I'm going to continue to serve that. And I feel, so we'll see. So yeah, I don't want to put a definition of where I'm going to be. I'm just going to say I'm nomadic. I'm taking a sabbatical. I'm going to be nomadic. And
are you gonna grow a beard and mustache?
No,
grow your hair.
Much of a beard there. It's not really my thing too. It's like I'm a clean cut guy, and it's never
okay.
Wow.
It's not gonna be like the bigote look. Is not my thing. It's not my thing.
Yeah, right. Maybe the next thing we'll be surprised. Like, what the heck happened to you? Like you're surfing with your hair so long, kind of blonde.
Okay. Blondie, no.
Naging blonde na. Oh, biglang,
And you'll be
it's
so
because of the
dark
sun.
because you'll be surfing every day.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be dark for sure. You know, it's like I love the fact that Siargao exists in the Philippines because most of my friends are like, oh, we're gonna go to Bali, we're gonna go to Tulum. I was like, Siargao is what Bali and Tulum was 30 years ago, and there are people now just discovering Siargao. So I love the fact that it's still like, you know, the Philippines' little paradise. I mean, some people go to La Union because it's close to the city. So,
Yes.
but there's something about Siargao where you're just there. But those who are aware know that there's parts of the year like January to February, March where it's rainy season. So you can't even surf too much because you'll be stuck in your hut in the rain all the time. Because the weather in Siargao is so different from Manila. It's like the opposite.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, so January until March is the
Actually
rainy
bad.
season.
Yeah, for that. It's actually the best time.
Naman.
Yeah.
So wait, so you'll be staying in a nipa hut in Siargao?
Yeah.
With no AC, no...
Outdoor kitchen.
Wait, are you
motorbike.
gonna dig your own hole for you know what?
I don't know. I know in this hut that I mean it's my old kabarkada from Davao that has this hut that's letting me use it for a month or so. So we'll see. I don't know. Like I don't know what to expect. All I know is that this is like a little nipa hut with only one room with an outdoor kitchen and then a couple of surfboards. So,
And wait, do you know how to at least do surfing? Or
yeah.
you
I
start
used to surf when I was younger. So
oh my God, so wait, so no internet, no Wi-Fi?
I'll go to a cafe if I need the internet.
Sabbatical nga eh.
Sabbatical
grabe.
nga. Akala ko yung sabbatical mo for like a few days lang. But a month?
I've done that many times to do like that's how I'd be able to like still continue to perform in the NBA is like giving myself, you know, that 5 days to 10 days max of vacation. Because like even when we go to the Philippines, it's not a vacation for me. I'm like so busy. That's not a real vacation. Like and even if I go to all my personal growth stuff, I take a time off for vacation, but I'm active every single day. And the only time that I felt close to actually having a true holiday is when I went to the ashram in India and I was meditating every day for 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks. And so I think this will be even not only close to that, but even more internal for me to be really in that setting. And if I'm not in Siargao, if I want to be closer, then I go to my family's beach in Quezon, and we also have a big nipa hut there that my mom created. Then I'll just stay there, or I'll be up in the mountains with the indigenous kids and just stay in the little room that my mom made that she has just in case she goes visits there. So
I really love your versatility. I swear. You can adapt. You're very agile. I swear. Like, you can... I mean, I can't even do it. I'll be honest with you. I mean,
Hindi ko kaya yung walang aircon, Day.
I can't.
That's it.
I'll be like...
hindi na ba kaya?
Hindi kaya yun. Ang hirap. My God. Parang, I can probably only do it for 2 to 3 days. And after that, I'll be like, please, can you just...
2 to 3 days?
Get me to...
Ang init.
I mean, I can't. Parang hirap no? Pero, wow, I salute you. Galing.
Siguro I'll do it if there's a hot, a
guwapo.
surfer with a washboard abs, siguro.
Oh my God.
Then I'll push my limit and I'll be like, yes,
For
I'm
a
an
month.
outdoor girl, outdoor guy. Of course I like this. Ew.
Oh my God. You're too funny.
Oh my God. Baka maging barkada mo dun sino yung mga celebrities dun?
Ang dami ring afam dun eh. There's a lot of foreigners
Andy
going there.
Eigenman.
You know what's funny? My cousin also said that you might meet the next Abby Eigenman. I was like, you know, Gabby is like a really good friend of mine. So Gabby Eigenman is a really, really good friend of mine. So,
Really? The sister?
yeah. No,
I mean, the brother.
The brother.
The actor,
brother.
yeah.
The actor.
The dramatic actor, yeah. He's a very different. He's a massive Knicks fan. So that's how
Oh
we
my
became
God.
friends. He was a massive Knicks fan. And so so I know Gabby really well. Gabby's my guy. And then one of my mga angels, parang my little sisters is I'm the kuya of Catarina Rodriguez. So she's also she lives in Siargao. That's her husband is living over there. He has a political family, so they stay in Siargao. So she has 2 kids, and they're all basically living in
Eh
Siargao.
baka naman yung sabbatical mo saglit lang. Makita ka namin, lagi ka nakikita. mingle kung saan.
Yun,
Because
yun,
everyone...
yun yung magiging problema ko. I think I'm such a community person, and I'm such a mingler that I'll find myself in these situations. But my main intention is really to take time for myself, and if I get invited to certain things, then I'll go. So one thing that I plan to do, if I feel like it's something I want to do, is do these intentional dinners that I like to do. So, which is basically having, very conscious dinners. It's potluck, but then only one conversation, people in a safe space if they want to emote and all that stuff. And these are things that I've done on social audio apps like Clubhouse. I've also done in real life where people are crying, and stuff like that. But because I feel like you can bring people closer to themselves and with each other when you have some more intention, even when you go eat for dinner. And I want to experiment that in Siargao, because I've already been invited to try to do that in Manila, but I want to see how it would be like to then build community in that way, so you know who the actual conscious people are in your community where you're staying. So.
Oh my God. While you're saying it, I'm trying to imagine you're having dinner and you're like, I'm crying, I'm emoting, like, wow. I want to experience that too. Siguro pag pumunta kami ng Siargao, I will invite myself. Kuya, patry niyang experience na yan, please.
Emotional dinner. Intentional dinner with emotion.
So it's called the format is called a salon style dinner. These were dinners and meetups that were really started during the Renaissance period. With all these, with Ernest Hemingway and all those people at the time. Everyone was either a painter, an artist, an actor, a writer, and then they had these discussions, these dinners, and they would have the salon style dinners where, okay, let's pick a topic, let's pick a conversation, and that's how it would go. And another thing that's familiar with that is having Shabbat dinner. Shabbat dinners are very similar to that too. And I've been able to experience Shabbat dinner in New York very often, and having that intentionality of the tradition and the process. It doesn't have to be religious. It's just going through the format basically.
Yeah.
Shabbat dinner. So you'll pick a topic from the Bible or from...
No, nothing to do with the Bible.
Okay.
Well, in Shabbat, with Jewish dinners, yes, there's a whole process that they go through. But when you're trying to do like a salon dinner or an intentional dinner, you're just following the format of how they arrange.
Pero hindi naman siya about faith and about religion.
No, it's not about that.
It's just a conversation.
It's about having a thought provoking question. That's what it is.
Yes. I've seen that. I've seen an example of a Shabbat dinner. Pangalan sa Real Housewives of New York.
Oh my! You guys should go to get invited to a Shabbat dinner and.
I'm interested.
Sige nga, pagbalik mo. Teka, wait, we can't have dinner na, no? Before you leave.
Yeah, we haven't even gone to yung plano natin barbecue sa bahay mo, no? Paalis ka na.
Wala na.
Busy tayo eh.
Oo nga. Di bale, what about in October when you come back?
I'll only have literally those 10 days to completely be out of my house.
Wait, no. I mean, we can hang out, dinner or something. Because October until December, right? You're staying in the U.S.?
No, I'm only going to be here from October 21 to November 1st. And I'm out November 1st.
You're going back to the Philippines?
I'm probably going to go down to Florida, then Florida, go to Austin, then Austin, go to Mexico City, and then go back to the Philippines from there.
Oh my God.
Wait, magpakita ka naman sa amin next week. Kakainis for dinner. Come on. Tayo nila Rachel. Ang daya.
I have to look at my schedule, Lily.
Please.
I have to finish all my packing. I'm not even close to.
Oh my God. Kahit 2 hours lang. Because Rachel, actually, they're coming here this Saturday. Yun na nga, diba, I'm inviting you.
Yeah.
Sabi ko nga, if you want, I know you're busy. But if you want, even, magpakita ka naman, 14 you're leaving, right? Kahit man lang 2 hours, let's have dinner. Just...
it doesn't, let's be honest. They don't last just 2 hours. Let's be honest.
I know. I'm never gonna miss you. Nakakainis. Akala ko naman kasi, that's why I'm like, you're coming back naman pala in October. I thought you'll be staying here for 2 months and then you'll decide to okay, let me go. Oh my God. Check
Yeah, I'm
mo
only
yung
gonna be here
calendar
for like
mo.
I'm really gonna be here for like less than 9 days when I come
Wait,
back.
what about, did you ever have time? Like, what? I'm sure you have a lot of people inviting you left and right. You know, farewell dinner here, or, right? A lot of people are like asking you and begging you, come on, let's have a get together before we fly to the Philippines. Singit mo naman kami. Sige
Ano ka
na, ito
ba?
naman ang daya
Mahirap
mo.
kalaban. Jessie, nag-guest na siya kay Jay Shetty, kay ano, nasa taas ng
Oh,
totem pole. So,
Oo nga
nasa
eh.
baba tayo.
Doon tayo sa pinaka, doon tayo
We'll,
sa,
we'll figure it out. I mean, I'll look at the schedule and when the only time I do it is when I have like an appointment in the city, then I stack all of it and that's my one city day. Otherwise, I'm just here and I'm literally just packing and throwing things in Goodwill every
True.
day. So
I know.
I'm by myself. So
Oh, nalungkot ako bigla. Ang tagal mo palang mawawala. Nakakainis ka naman.
New York, the Fil-Am community will lose a good
Definitely
one.
miss you. Definitely.
Quality
But what if
contributor.
ito lang what if lang, hypothetical question. What if, let's say, January or end of this year, let's say, Miami, what did you say, direct, Miami Heat, or ano pa yung sinabi mong mga, sa marami. Okay.
Iba-ibang
Oo.
team.
So what if Miami Heat will, let's say, or any other basketball team will ask
get
you and beg you to, like, can you please be the director of training or anything that they'll give you
si JV might eat it this.
Oo nga, the salary, double the salary.
Director.
Wellness
Oh my
director,
God.
the salary, everything that you want, name it. Will you change your mind?
I don't know. I'm not this year.
Maybe
I'm really taking time off, really, because if I
Yeah.
don't do it now, then I don't know when I'm going to do it.
or maybe you don't have to travel. Wellness director nga, you just have to, be the corporate guy.
I know what the world of sports is, so there's no.
Oo.
I know I've been in it for almost 20 years, so I know the reality is. I had to give a
True.
talk to Dominican University a couple of weeks ago, and I really just destroyed so many dreams that day. Because they like, oh, I want to work in sports. Just like, how's the lifestyle? I was like, are you willing to be single for a long time? Are you willing to probably get a divorce if you are married? Are you willing? Are you expecting to still see your parents? Expecting to see your friends for happy hours? If you're expecting all of that, then don't go into sports.
Yeah, kasi
Oh, wow.
you have
Oh
to give
my
your
God.
everything. It becomes your life, diba?
It is your life.
It's true.
Eh.
And you think it's all
Ayan.
it's all about, it's all, like, it's all glam, and like you meeting different players and all these hotels, but think
Other
about
influential people. It is, but the
Influ-
downside,
it. Is
is
you're
also
living in a
big, yeah.
one hotel to another hotel and another hotel.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think I was very blessed to experience all of that, and I will never not regret the opportunities and these things that I got to experience, and I'm so blessed and grateful for that.
So blessed.
I've like for almost 20 years, to be able to do that, but you have to start at this period of time in my life, in my career, I feel like a shift that needs to be done for myself. If, let's say, you're right, if in 2 years to 5 years and now have family, and then, if I get called by an organization that wants me to do something more from the wellness side, or maybe from the leadership side, the organizational development and leadership stuff, then maybe I'd be fascinated by it, because then, one, you're right, I can
Exactly.
probably stay in the office and be like that, and two, I'll be able to, like, support, say, my mission, support the people that support others. And I think if that's the situation, then yeah, definitely something to consider. But the daily grind, the everyday situation, working on the trenches anymore, I'm not sure if that's something I want to continue to do in the future.
Yeah, probably. I'm thinking about it. I would probably do the same thing. If it's just like a corporate type, like type of thing, that I'll just stay in the office and, probably be the director of whatever, but not like do the whole 9 yards of traveling again. Oo, wag na.
The hands-on,
Baka-
nandun ka na, di ba? To manage.
Baka, tama.
Diba?
You've been there, you've done that for so many years. Diba? God
Yeah.
gave you all these blessings. Imagine,
I know.
nakilala ka ng buong Filipino community. Diba? Nasa ano ka? Diba every time like, whenever, because of course I brag about you to my friends sa office na, tingnan mo. So, they started Googling you. Yung mga puti doon. Oh my God. I'm like, see? Because one time like when we're about to have dinner.
Masaya na ako na nakapunta ako ng isang game. Diba?
Oh yeah, we've been to a lot.
Hindi ako mahilig, but I really appreciate that one time.
I know. But kami ni JB, my God, ito kasi diehard fan, grabe. And without JB din naman, di ba? He was the one who reached out to you years ago. And after that, my God, like, talagang we're meant to be friends. Di ba?
Yeah,
Singit mo kami, please. Singit mo kami sa ano mo. Sige, no?
You guys are so funny. You're asking me this while you're recording this right now.
I know, it's okay.
I was like,
yes.
Is she really doing this like while she's recording this podcast?
Yes. You know how our podcast is. There's no such thing as question and answer. It's like we're just like talking as if like we're having a drink. That's why we had fun. Remember, it was 3 hours our first interview.
Yeah.
Right? It was
It's already like 120.
I know, 1.5. No, TFC, wag nyo sana ikat lahat to. Ang saya. Kakausapin si Noela, huy, pahabain mo naman.
Wag nila edit masyado. Gawin nila part 1 and part 2. Sometimes they do that. You know, we don't really
do they?
We don't know what the episode. It's long. I saw one episode. Like,
Hindi, 1 hour lang, di ba? Oo, 1 hour lang daw talaga. You know, they do that, pero meron pa rin silang tinatanggal. They have to cut it until 1 hour. Oo, bakit nakwento namin dito, TFC?
Wala talaga tayong filter eh.
Oh my God, wala talaga kaming filter, I swear.
And you know what? You guys, congratulations to you guys.
Oh, thank you so much. And you know what? Nako, I feel like one of these days we will see you like, I don't know, like maybe CNN or ano yung sports na yun? Yung favorite mo? ESPN. Wala talagang obvious na wala akong alam sa sports. Nakikicheers ako.
Alam natin.
Hi guys! Hi guys, I'm in, where are BB? Hey, you never know. You never know. I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason and good things happen to good people like you.
Oh,
and we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
My God, Papa E. Grabe.
I'm not worried about you. I mean,
we're not worried about you.
You already have like your next chapter planned out, and you know, and just sometimes veer away from that. You know, you never know where you're gonna end up.
Oo. At saka ako, lagi ko sinasabi sa ibang friends ko na sometimes like yung akala nilang mga misfortune, those misfortune can lead you to, you know, a fortune, a better opportunity. And most of the time, everything that's going on in our lives is just a preparation for us for a better situation in the near future. So
absolutely.
God is just preparing you and us actually kung ano man yung mga nangyaring mga hurdles and
like
adversities in life. It's
the
just
universe
like,
is preparing us for the coming of the alien.
Alien naman bigla. Oh, malay mo, di ba?
Oh my God.
Here.
Mga alien. You've been watching the yung mga
whistle,
stuff that's been
the
happening.
whistle blow.
Oh my God.
Ako, mahilig ako dyan.
Yeah,
as an alien myself.
Actually, sinong mahilig sa alien? Ako na makakausap mo ng matagal. Eto!
Si Direk.
Oh my God. Everything. Oh my God. He knows a lot of things about aliens. Sometimes he'll be talking about aliens if we're going on a long drive. He'll be like talking about aliens. I'll be like, huh? Huh? What? Be like, oh my God, I see an alien right there. I was like, oh my God, seriously? That's how weird. Actually, silang dalawa, they love aliens. They can talk about hours, for 2 to 3 hours about aliens. And I'll just be like, no. Ay, nako, Papa E. We wish you all the best. And I hope like by next year, we'll be receiving an invitation. It's either an engagement, a save the date, or
you know what's funny too is I was joking with one of the secretaries at work before I left when she felt kind of sad, and she'd be like, "Oh, I know you're going to be like," I said, "I'm going to be a ghost and I'm going to be everywhere after that." And she goes, "I'm not worried about you." It's like, yeah, because the next time you see me may not be. Maybe the next time you see me may not be just be in person. You might be seeing me on the Today Show or Good Morning
Yes.
America. And she was
Yes.
like, oh my God, like that's, I see that already happening. So,
Yes. Yes. Us too.
and that
To
was,
ESPN, yes, it will happen. We're claiming it for you. Hoy, wag mo kami kalimutan na baka hinuhuyo mo na lang kami ha.
Hinuhuyo? What?
Huyo? Who's Jesse? Who's Jcas? Who's JV?
You guys are still funny.
Oh God, at least, you know what? At least we have a lot of pictures beside you. Diba? Dinners and, diba? Dinner, we're drinking.
Yeah.
Everywhere. We're everywhere. Happy hour. Ano pa ba
Happy
ginawa
hour.
natin lately? The St. Patrick's Day and all this stuff. Right?
And we had you here in Over a Glass na.
Twice,
Yeah.
diba? So, hindi mo kami pwedeng ihuyu.
Correct. Hahantingin ka namin. Diba?
Yes.
Sa Siargao. Sa Siargao. At saka maghakot ka ng mga kaibigan mo doon na mga surfers, mga AFAM. Para naman,
Mga fam. Para kay
masaya yung
Jcas.
pagbisita ko. Definitely my visit is not very self-serve. What are you talking about?
I know. And then next year, definitely, because we might go home. Not might, we'll definitely go home. And I promised my uncle and my other aunts there that we're going to Siargao. So since you'll be in Siargao, so
We'll see.
now we have a
You never
reason.
know what's going to happen in December next year, where I'm going to be. So,
You never know, di ba? Oh my God. Ay, maraming salamat. Teka, nga pa, last message nga to everyone before we leave. Yung tipong
Makapagdamdamin.
Hirap na, damdaming message for everyone, please.
wow. What can I really say here is that, well, first and foremost, I'm very, very grateful for the crew here, Direk, Jesse, and Jcas for allowing me to share my stories for the really, not just this time, but the previous time when we spoke for 3 hours. And then also being able to share these experiences with you guys in real life through the past number of years. And thank you for being a champion for me and my life. And, seeing me through my journey, knowing that there's bigger things in this world that I'm probably destined for. And, I'll forever be grateful to you guys for giving me that opportunity to just do my thing, be me, and shine. I think sometimes you forget that, it's the people along the way and the journey that helps you truly fulfill what your destiny is really meant to be. And I think you guys are part of that journey. And for that, thank you.
Is Jessie crying? Mababaw luha pa naman niya. Ayun na nga. I'm right. Corrected. You know what? We're gonna miss you. We're gonna miss you so much here in New York. And thank you for the friendship for a couple of years. We met you in the show, but we went beyond that. Kahit na minsan lang tayo nagkakasama because you're very busy too. Si
So
Jessie very busy rin.
yeah. But this is not a
So I think we saw each other in costumes, diba?
Oh my
yeah.
God,
Imagine that. Oh.
Tas
Silly
lagi
selves.
Tapos lagi ka may dalang mga anghelitas.
I know. That was Monica's first week by. Crazy. And now Monica's everywhere now. It's crazy.
I know.
Everywhere now. She's at the opening of Here Lies Love on the red carpet with her.
I know.
She's everywhere now. Like I would go on my feed, she'd be like on this thing that's not even like her, but about like how she's teaching all these people how to say a bad word in Tagalog in like some Uber. Like she's just owning it.
Yeah. And
I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her because she came here. She was by herself. She was lonely. She didn't really know if she could make it, and she's slowly getting out there. So I'm really proud of her.
Wow. Talaga pag may touch ni Papa Ino, iba.
Wait, pinakilala mo rin yung isa sa mga angelita mo, si Charmaine.
Si
Sumama pa si Charmaine sa Miami ninyo kayo.
Oo, I know.
Tignan mo, may bago kaming barkada dahil sa'yo,
Oh
di ba?
my God! I was like,
Don't
I was
worry.
like, are you in Miami with the crew? And she
Yeah.
goes, yeah, they told me to come. I said, yeah, sure. I'm like, what?
Ang daling kausap,
Diba?
'di ba? Ano din,
Oo.
mini-mentor din namin siya na parang grasshopper. Don't worry.
Yes.
but we're doing something.
Miami style, ha?
Yeah. Ibang grasshopper ang ginagawa namin.
Oh my God.
Hopping from
Bar
one party to
Hopping
another.
from-
Yeah,
yes,
bar
yes, yes.
hopping.
You know what? That's one good thing about you because you always love to connect people. You know, you don't just network yourself and whatever you're doing in life, but you always love to connect people together. That's what we are all so grateful for you. Kasi grabe, yung mga ginawa mo sa ibang tao. And everyone, grabe, will be so grateful dahil nakilala nila si Mr. Erwin Valencia, the grandfather of
The Godfather.
Godfather, ha?
Joke. Ang yakan, Jekas, grandfather. Ako pa naman, the grandfather. Yung pala,
Feel na pa naman. Diba?
Is it written there? Or can't you just not see it? Can you see it?
no, it's
No,
right
I
here,
wrote
like,
it.
freaking
I wrote-
Jekas wrote it. And it's
I
in my
actually
notes.
had a question in mind, and I'm going to ask you, why do you call that the grandfather? It's written in here. Thank you for
Ayop
correcting
ka
us
talaga.
immediately.
Oh my God. Oh
I
God.
wouldn't. I'm like, excuse me, guys. I think slight mistake.
Yeah.
Konti lang.
Oh my God. I won't be surprised na makita pa namin papaisa sa mga reality show. I can see you. Yeah. Kahawig mo yung nasa reality show ng Bling Empire. Remember, I keep on telling you that.
Actually, which one? Bling Empire New York?
The first one.
Oh, the first.
The
So
Asian.
Kevin? Si Kevin?
Yes.
Kevin Crater, the one who's always without a shirt.
Oh my God. I always tell you. Di ba I told you that so many times? Like, you look like Kevin.
You know, the
From
Bling
the
Empire
Bling-
in New York, the Richard is a really good friend of mine.
Really?
Oh my,
Oh my
Dorothy? Kilala mo si Dorothy?
No, Richard and Vika are Bling Empire in New York. Vika is like Russian Asian, and then he's Chinese.
Alam ko. Sila yung kaaway ni Dorothy. I watched the
Yung
first
ba- yung ba- yeah, actually, you know what? Yeah, tama.
That's the storyline. So I can't wait for season 2.
seen it yet. Sige, papanoorin ko to.
And sana, kasama ka doon sa Bling
You
Empire.
actually asked me, it's like, dude, do you think when I was like, dude, not as somebody working in NBA, I can't do it.
Now you
But now
can.
maybe you-
Now you can.
We're claiming
The
it for
window
you.
just opened. The window just
Oh my
opened.
God.
And we're
lot of
talking
windows
about
will
it right
open.
now. I'm having goosebumps. We're talking about it right now. Your connection with that, it's not far-fetched that they'll ask you again and we'll say, what the heck? That's your
Plus,
answer now.
Papa E, you have your connections is massive. Like you have connections
Yeah.
everywhere. So we won't be surprised if you'll be like doing this, the Bling Empire, or someone will ask you to be the what's that? Ano yun, yung mga single dating.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, you never.
Dating
dude, I
shows?
swear.
Oh my God.
The dating. You never know. You never know. Anything is possible. Anything
Actually,
is
you know what?
possible.
You who reached out to me because I knew somebody was when somebody asked, like, do you know anybody that's planning to move to a different country and stay there for at least a year or permanently? And then if somebody in one of my communities, and I said, I'm actually going back home to the Philippines, but would that be included because I technically grew up there? Like, kasama pa ba ako? And they're like, we've been getting a lot of traction in the Philippines and stuff like that. And so maybe let's have a chat and see where it goes. And I said, what show is this anyways? And then sabi niya, House Hunters International. Sabi ko, I love the show. Sabi ko, I love the show. It's like, pero sabi ko, how can I do it na, but I'm staying in my parents' place first. And then yung nagiging na rent ko na condo, yung sa mami ko. Yung investment niya, di ba? Pwede ba? I think they'll find out, like, hoy, dito to pwede. You have to actually look at the properties.
At the
like,
property.
Yeah.
Hindi yung condo ng mami mo, ha?
Hindi yung kondo ng mami mo. Pinagkakitaan yung kondo ng mami
Yan nga,
mo.
di ba? So we'll see. But I was like, oh my God, I love House Hunters International. So
Yeah, anything is possible. Basta
And
one
now
of these days
it
makikita
seems-
ka na namin.
not just the time. I feel like now you're more going to be flexible.
Definitely.
In different aspects of your life and like what the opportunities, what may come to you. hindi ka na yung wait, I can't do it because, I'm working here.
Yeah.
For NBA.
Diba?
I can't. This time, lahat na ng racket kukunin mo na.
Yeah, you can finally do your OnlyFans and
Right? Oh my God!
No, will not be doing
Guys, see me later live wearing a hat. Only a hat.
You know what's funny is actually is that not OnlyFans, but like I was supposed to right after doing FIBA, I'm supposed to go straight to Siargao, and my friend who's the founder and organizer of Philippine Blockchain Weekend, which is like the biggest crypto Web3 convention happening in the Philippines, about 4,000 people and stuff. She goes, "Oh, are you going to be in the Philippines?" It's like, "Can you MC? Can you be my MC for my Philippine Blockchain Weekend?" I was like, "I don't know. I already want to go to the beach. I already want to stay in Siargao." I was like, "Sige na, please. There's going to be like, you're going to be the main stage. There's going to be 1,000 people in the audience when you go in there. It's also good connections for you kasi mga CEO, lahat nun sila nandun. And if you entertain them, they'll be like, oh, we didn't know that this is what you do also. But you'll see it. It's good exposure for you." It's like, I don't know. I don't know if I really want to do it. Ano ba kailangan? We have to pay you. Well, maybe. Ano ba pinag-usapan natin dyan?
Yun lang pala.
If the price is right.
Sabi niya, like, I know you want to go on vacation, but would it be nice if you have some extra money when you go
Ayun pa.
to Siargao? Sabi ko,
See?
don't
Hosting. Ang dami mong hosting doon.
Ang dami talaga.
Mag-host ka na ng mga binibining Pilipinas na Miss Universe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh my God. Diba?
You know what, tama nga, baka feeling ko hindi ka talaga yung sabbatical na sinasabi mo.
Yeah.
Baka iba na only happen for maybe
gawin
a
mo
week.
Gamitin mo yung sabbatical para makapag-refresh and recharge ka.
I know.
Then,
yun na.
tabak na.
Hindi nga. Baka nga ang iniisip ko kay Papa E is yung sabbatical mo, mapupush kasi nga lagi kang may mga gigs. Sige na. You know how it is. Like sometimes like money talks, bullshit walks. So baka mamaya biglang,
my minimum talaga is no less than 2 weeks. If nobody can encroach on them. My minimal is 2 weeks. My minimal, like you can't go in the middle there and be like even I had a friend, another friend from Spain that was like, hey, like, oh my God, you're going to be in that island. Like maybe we should plan a retreat while you're there for like entrepreneurs or something like that. Sabi ko,
sounds like Jesse.
I know, right?
Hello, I'm just going to be there finishing my first week, and you want me to plan a retreat while I'm there? No. Like, I love you, but no. So
Yeah.
Everyone is excited because you have free time now. Like, alam mo yun, tipo, before, it's payback time because we've been inviting you and we've been, pushing ourselves to your life that we have to hang out, we have to go to this place. And you're always like, no. So ngayon, lahat sila, patay ka. They would start like bombarding you with messages and calling you and you know what? But that's a blessing. That only shows that
it is a blessing.
That only shows that everyone loves you. Kasi naman, you're so easy to love. Come on, who would hate Mr. Erwin Valencia? The grandfather of just wala kasi
Kulit niyo ha. Kulit.
Oo nga, walang yaka si Jay kasi naman ako eh. Oh my God. Hi,
And Erwin, ayan, before we
last
let you
na to,
go,
sige na. Okay, go. Mm-hmm.
Anything that you want to promote and plug before we leave,
yeah.
all of us.
Oh my God. We need to do this. This is the big one we need to do.
Yes.
Yeah, first and foremost, August 12th, GP Summit is the first ever GP Summit, which is a software project, which is my nonprofit, which is basically a nonprofit that helps champion the next generation of health, wellness, and performance industry professionals. You know, what we're doing is putting this summit together to show different types of careers that you can get into. One, we have somebody who's an athletic trainer that's working with the Rockettes and the Nick City Dancers, say Monica, and she's also helping with the U.S. breakdancing team that might be in the next Olympics. We have Ryan, who started a clinic during the pandemic, and it's now a multi-million-dollar clinic, so to speak, because it's a different philosophy that he did. And then we have one of my other mentees who went from the U.S. Olympic Committee, helping with the Olympics, went to soccer, and now is with the Brooklyn Nets. And so I think it's more of a career day for a lot of students and a lot of people who are also transitioning to see what their options are and to meet like-minded people who would be there. So that's going to happen on August 12th. August 13th, we're also Gratitude Gang, which is my other nonprofit. We're doing a Sunday gratitude sessions live, just like I did in Estonia, like I did in the Philippines, like I did in other places around the world, where we have people share what they're grateful for and why, just like I did in Clubhouse for the year straight, and in a secret location in New York. And so that's something that's really, really exciting for me. Plus the fact that being able to go back to the Philippines afterwards and support FIBA, which I know the tickets are so crazy right now for people to go there, but to be able to support all the other teams from around the world to come and show them what it's like to be Filipino full force. It's going to be really exciting. And I'm really excited to be part of that. And of course, Philippine Blockchain Weekend, where I'm going to be now officially, I just got the contract and signed it today, officially the host for Philippine Blockchain Weekend. And it's going to be a lot of fun, especially with me on stage. There's going to be dancing involved.
Oh my God. When is this?
That's going to be September 18 to 22.
Wow.
Yeah, there's going to be
Ang busy mo.
Fully booked.
Fully booked.
And then sabbatical.
And the sabbatical. There you go.
Yeah.
Don't bother me. Don't bother me.
For a month. For 4 weeks, right? Oh my God. Maraming salamat, Papa E. Thank you so much, my God. You're a blessing to everyone. Love na love ka talaga
Thank you.
namin. Maraming
Thank you.
salamat. Para namang this is not goodbye, right? Oo, magkikita pa tayo.
See you later.
We'll see you later. Yeah, definitely. Isisingit mo kami next week. May message kita, lagot ka sa akin.
Jetty.
Oo.
Lagot ka.
May message ko na si Rach, wala tayong choice. Kailangan na natin kausapin to si Papa E. Saglit lang. 2 hours lang to naman. Sige na.
That's not true. The 2 hours is until midnight
really
or
6.
beyond.
That's what it is.
Oo. Kasi nga kahit promise
Oo
to.
naman siya.
Minimum lang in 2 hours, no? That's just the base.
Okay. 2
That's
to 3
the baseline.
hours. Magpapapicture lang kami ulit before ka maging super famous na nasa, alam mo yun, good day, ano yan? Good Morning America,
Today
ESPN,
Show.
Oo, mga Today Show, yan. Tipong, ito yung last namin, sorry. Talaga kami yung prioritize ni Papa E.
Ayan.
We love you, Papa E.
Thank you very much, Papa Erwin.
Thank
and thank you very much po sa lahat ng mga kaugat natin who are watching and enjoying this show. Don't forget to share this amongst your friends and family so they can enjoy it too. And also, thank you to our ABS-CBN FYE Channel Kumunizens. We miss you guys in Kumu, and also TFC subscribers and iWantTFC streamers. Thank you very much. And also sa mga pasahero natin sa Pilipinas, Jeepney TV.
Yes.
Papa E, we're gonna miss you so much.
Ooh.
I want to give the Godfather of gratitude a big gratitude for all that you have done for us, not just for the Filipino community, but for everyone, by giving your life to others. And now you're going to recharge a sabbatical, and before you make sabak again in your new chapter. We're very excited. Your new chapter in the Philippines.
Version 2.0.
In the Philippines. Ayan, let's have our last toast for this more night.
Yes!
Yes. Mga kaugat, Jessie and Erwin, amidst the challenges of life, let's still find ways to be happy. Let's all talk about it over a glass or two. Yay! We love you, Erwin. Good luck.
Love you, Papa E. Mwah!